I'm gonna fold the paper, and then I'm gonna be using fire, and so you can use a lighter or whatever it is, and I'm just gonna burn that paper. And before I burn it, I just say, may the divine fire transcend and dissolve all the energetic bond that have been holding me back. Hello everyone, this is Kevlan, and here I like to share information to help you reclaim your power, to really empower you and help with your transformation from the inside out. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about a practice or a healing practice or a healing ritual that I've been using for quite some time, and this practice works like a charm. It has been helping me tremendously, and so I just wanted to share it with you guys, and perhaps you can try it out as well, and then you can let me know how it's been working for you guys. But so it's really a practice that I use when every time I'm going through phases where I know I'm not feeling great, or I have some emotions coming out, or I have some thoughts or some patterns that I need to heal and stuff that I need to hydrate that are really surfacing. And I get into a phase where I don't feel good, obviously, and I'm in a phase where my body needs to express, it needs to release these emotions or these patterns, these shadows that need to be acknowledged and released. So I really use that as to really to help my body, to help myself release all of this, and then get more centered and then feel much better. And it's a practice that you can use anywhere, anytime you want. You don't have to feel bad. You can even try it out, because I really think it's a practice that can help you release whatever is holding you back. And it's really leveraging elements, or I like it. I call it usually alchemical healing, is because I use alchemy, I use fire, I use water, I use earth to really help and assist myself with transcending and releasing what is holding me back. So this practice, basically what I do is, the first thing I do, and I really think this is where it's super powerful, is I write. I think the process of the practice of writing is super, super, super important. And what I write, depends on my mood, depends on what I feel inspired to write. And I try to write about how I'm feeling, and how, if I know what is holding me back, then I will just be more specific. If I don't know, I'll try to be more general. But typically what I try to write is something like, and I put my name, so I, Kevlan, release all energetic cords and energetic bonds that I've created consciously or unconsciously across all my lifetimes. I now reclaim my power. I am the sole architect of my life, and I become untouchable in the name of love. So that's something, around those lines. That's typically what I write. But again, sometimes I adjust it, refine it, or it may vary based on what I feel inspired to write. So I write something like that to really, and you have to think of, when we, in our life, we have to write contracts, we have to sign contract, and usually when we write something, when we have a contract, whatever it is, there is always this, we create like a bond with something. So the practice of writing, it's really to release all the contract, it's release all those bonds that sometimes we create unconsciously because we're not aware, and then we give our power, we give our power away to certain things, certain events, certain people. So that's really a practice to really kind of like cancel all those contracts that we may have in place. And that's why sometimes, instead of release all energetic cords or energetic bonds, so I write like all the contracts and try to cancel all the contracts that I have created consciously or unconsciously, or without my full awareness. So I try to write something around those lines. And then after that, once I've written it, I typically put my heart into it, and I just put my hand on my heart, and then I repeat it out loud 3 times. So I just go through whatever I've written, and I'm just going to repeat it 3 times out loud, and I really put my heart into it. as if every word that I'm saying, I can see or feel the vibration of what I'm saying. Because I say our voice is a spell and we create as we speak. So I try to really focus on the frequency and the word, the vibration that is getting out of my mouth when I'm talking, when I'm repeating whatever I've written on that piece of paper. So after that, what I do is I'm just going to be using fire. So I'm going to fold the paper and then I'm going to be using fire and so you can use a lighter or whatever it is, and I'm just going to burn that paper. And before I burn it, I just say, may the divine fire transcend and dissolve all the energetic bond that have been holding me back. And then I burn it. And then once it's burned, so usually after that, I usually have some reaction. My body will react. I will feel that I'm releasing stuff. I will feel, I need to spit, or I've gag, reaction and things like that. So it's very powerful when I do it. So, and then after that, once I feel a little bit better, after, releasing this, I use water. And so I just pour, and again, when I say water, ideally, you don't drink tap water, and ideally you don't drink bottled water in plastic bottles. You can have, pure and more clean water, whether it's like, I usually drink spring water, so I'm able to go to a spring and fill up my jar, and then that's what I drink. And I try to also charge my water. I have a water vortex where I can charge my water and structure my water. So that's what typically I use. And then, so I just pour some water on a glass, and then I just hold the glass in my hand, and I just close my eyes and I connect to the water, and I just ask the water to help me release all the toxins and help me release all the the things that have been holding me back, the things that have been, recorded and stuck on the cellular level. And I really ask the water to help me basically cleanse and clean and release my body from all of that. And then I drink it, thinking that I'm drinking light, like I'm drinking a glass of light. So that's what I do. And then once this is done, that's usually I try to rest, but like this practice has been working like a charm. Like, to me, it's very powerful when every time you feel a little bit down, where every time you feel that you have something to heal or something to release, something is holding you back. Sometimes you know what it is, and if you know, you can be very specific in that piece of paper when you write it. Sometimes you don't. So when you don't, you be more generic, and you say, as I just said, all the energetic cords or energetic bonds that you have created consciously or unconsciously, and it will help you. It will really help you release whatever is holding you back. And I try to repeat it as I need. So sometimes I do it once, and then a few days later, I can still feel there is stuff that I still need to be released. So I just do it again. Sometimes I try to wait for the full moon, or for a cosmic event like an eclipse or a full moon or something like that, to really amplify the energy of the ritual, amplify the energy of the practice, and use alchemy, fire and water, and yeah, it's a very powerful practice. So you should try it out for yourself, and you can let me know in comments what did you think about it. Another practice that I also do, so it's going to be more in nature, and again, it has been super powerful to me, is, I always, when there is time where I don't feel good and I need to go through a release phase, release what is, what has been surfacing again. What I do is I go in nature. Nature is medicine. Nature is a doctor. And really, when I get into nature, so it can be like in the mountains or in the forest, and I usually ask every time I get in nature, and I ask the spirit of nature, the energy of nature, the energy of the elements in nature, to really help me release and address whatever is holding me back. And again, when I do this, and again, you have to put your heart into it, and you have to believe in it. You have to believe that you're gonna get help to process and go through the process. And every time I do this, again, I got some huge reactions, whether I need to spit, I have some gag, and I have some big release happening to me. And then after that, I usually try to ground, obviously removing my shoes and just ground into earth and get the energy from the earth or from a tree to really, fill me up again and get that energy that, will charge my battery, charge myself again after this big release. So that's kind of two different rituals that I've been practicing fairly regularly, and especially when I'm going through some phases of release or phases of contraction. There is always a phase of contraction before there's an expansion. So every time I'm going through that, that's the type of practice I'll be using, and it has been helping me like a charm over the last few years. So I highly recommend, like, if you're not sure if you experience some days where you don't feel good and you want to release it, you don't know how to do it, or you don't know how you can be helped, you can really try those rituals and use alchemy to really assist you with the release process. If this is something that resonates with you, if you like the content, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. I invite you to smash the like button, share the video with your friends and family, or any people that you think may benefit from the content. Send me a comment if you have any questions, or if you have any things that you want me to discuss in the future. I also put in a link in the description below. I put my book, The Science of Breaking Free, if you want to read and have more empowering knowledge and information about who you are and about yourself, about the reality you live in. And also I added the link of my website and my services if you want to work with me or if you want to contact me directly. It's down in the description. In the meantime, I wish you well, and I'll see you in the next video.